Welcome back to FT Markets. The UK election has produced a surprise result. The Prime Minister, David Cameron, is back firmly in 10 Downing Street. What does this mean for financial markets? With me to discuss this is Roger Blitz, the FT's currency correspondent. Roger, you've been up a large part of the night. If you had to sum up the market reaction so far in a few words, what would you say?
One word: relief. The market has been worried about the prospect of a Labour-led administration supported by Scottish nationalist members, and that's, I think, that's pretty much dead and buried.
They're also worried about uncertainty, they're not having any government at all. At least it looks like we are going to have a Conservative-led government. It's clear who the Prime Minister is going to be.
Yes, and what that means is the markets just feel there's business as usual. We're going to get back to what they're familiar with, same kind of territory in terms of GDP growth and the UK economy continuing to move forward.
Let's have a look at our first chart showing the reaction of sterling, up quite strongly this morning. It didn't really move hugely though before the election.
It was pretty resilient. It was expected to drop a great deal, but here you see that's the biggest one-day rise against the dollar overnight, and that is the indication of how the relief has come back. But it's a lot of people are saying that they're not expecting it to trend that much higher.
Okay, let's have a look at stocks as well. The FTSE 250 hits a record high. That's maybe a clear expression of optimism from equity traders at least.
Various companies are seeing that they haven't got the worries that they were going to face.
Yeah, it was more the other way around. They were worried about some of the impact of Labour policies. And we can see that on specific stock moves. If we have a look at our final chart. Ladbrokes, the bookies were going to be hit.
The bookies were going to be hit by regulation under Labour. There's some house builders there who clearly think
Foxtons, estate agents, and Persimmon house builders.
And with Foxtons, obviously, the end of the mansion tax idea that Labour is helping their shares, and also the energy pressure on Centrica is clearly gone away, so that's why they're up as well.
A couple of banks there as well. I suppose what we should think about now is what happens next. A relief rally so far, but of course one of the worries that was voiced before the election obviously was the question about a referendum on British membership of the European Union.
This now comes into focus, and a lot of concern is going to be around the idea of how much the next 2 years is going to be taken up with that discussion and that debate, but also what is going to be the impact if Britain does leave the EU.
Well, how do you square the worries, such worries about Brexit, with the relief rally we've seen, especially in sterling today?
Short term. It's a short-term relief rally. It's you could almost say it's one-day relief rally, and it could be back to other issues that will impact, particularly on sterling, such as the American economy. We'll see jobs data coming out later on Friday, and that's going to be the broader picture that influences sterling.
I suppose the other point you could make is that better to have a referendum on EU membership now under Cameron, a relatively positive supporter of the EU, rather than in a few years' time under possibly a more sceptic.
Yes, but that depends on the shape of the debate, and it depends on how much investors start worrying now about investment decisions and whether that is going to come off if they've got 2 years of uncertainty to face, if, say, we have an EU referendum in 2017.
Last question, Roger, you follow global currencies all the time. If you had to identify one factor that's going to be most important for the pound going forward in the next few weeks and months, what's it going to be?
US interest rates. It is for everybody. It's no different from sterling. Sterling's performing extremely well, but ultimately everything hangs on what the Fed does.
Roger, thank you very much. So the UK election there put in the global context, so relief rally so far, but let's see what happens as discussion of EU referendum draws nearer.